Well, a very good morning. Thanks for clicking on to the Friday edition of Vogan's European Outlook. It's monthly Outlook Day, and we have now reached the August Outlook. And certainly up until now, the summer has been somewhat disappointing across the British Isles and Western Europe. We did see a turnaround between the month of June and July. During the month of July, we have seen, of course, a lot wetter conditions across the northwestern half of Europe and drier than normal conditions across the southwest, and that has had an impact, as you would expect, on temperature. Cooler across the northwest, warmer across the southwest, and of course it was opposite during the month of June when we've seen a very dry weather pattern, particularly across the first half of June, and that was of course extending back to May as well. But as forecasted here since April, we've seen that pattern generally turn around. Generally after the 10th of June, we started to see the weather pattern change, the Atlantic become a lot more influential on our weather pattern, and that has maintained itself right up until this day. Now, it looks as if we are, on the grand scheme of things, going to maintain this rather disappointing summer overall. Yes, we had the heat, of course, over the last few days. We've seen temperatures rise into the 33.5 range at Braze Norton in Kent, not Kent, Oxfordshire, while we've seen 29 at Prestwick and Ayrshire. So I do think that the warm spell was relatively impressive. The downside, I think, was that I think we could have seen temperatures even warmer had it not been for the wet ground that we've got at the moment. We've got a lot wetter ground. That tends to lead to more evaporation, and the sun's energy, rather than going into heat in the air directly, it tends to go into evaporation, taking the moisture out of the air. And of course, when the heat comes down to the surface, it draws the moisture out of the soil here, and that causes a limitation effect on temperature. So temperatures were forecasted by some sources around about 35 degrees. It only came to 33 degrees, and I think that was a direct response to the wet ground that we've got at the moment. But we've got warmer than normal waters, helped by that 2 to 3 day of hot weather coming in from Morocco and Algeria. And you can see here, I want to draw your attention specifically. I know this isn't great the way the map's laid out here on the screen, but I want to draw your attention very, very carefully to the warm plume that we've got, generally extending from the tropical Atlantic up through the Azores. We've got a lot of very warm water here just to the east of the Azores, if you notice that, probably because of a stronger than normal Azores high. But that then extends up into the UK, and we've got another core of very warm water generally to the north of the British Isles between Greenland and Norway. The reason why I'm showing you that, folks, is as we push towards the latter half of the season, sea surface temperatures have a greater feedback to the atmosphere, and therefore we should see lower than normal pressure where the waters are warmer than normal. So that means I am indicating that I think August is going to be another month like July, like the second half of June, where it's going to be unsettled, disappointing, transient. We're going to see warm spells, yes, we're going to see warm spells in between areas of low pressure that are going to flow in from the southwest across the northern half of the UK, bringing cooler, wetter, and often windier conditions. Further south, the southeast of England, France, we're going to see plenty more warm to hot days. I think across Iberia we could have a very hot second half of summer here, and even up into France here. But the wetter ground across the northern half of France, the southern half of the UK, is having a slight limitation on how warm it can actually get here. So going to the CFSV2 for the month of August looks like this: 500 millibar height anomalies. You've got the model indicating a stronger than the normal ridge of high pressure extending really from eastern France and Switzerland, Austria, extending up into the UK, which is quite interesting here. But I do think we're going to continue to see low pressure, albeit we've got a very weak jet stream at the moment. We've got a weak upper level steering flow, but these areas of low pressure are going to run along where that water is warmest, and I think we're going to continue to see systems keeping things cooler and a lot more cloudier, often damp, across Ireland, the west of the UK, and particularly the northern half of the UK during the month of August overall. Precipitation wise, you can see here that the model is indicating that we are going to have a wetter than normal August, and that is exactly what I'm thinking. It also indicates that we're going to have drier than normal southern parts of the Republic of Ireland, Wales, southwest England. Drier, as I would expect, down across France and into Iberia as well, Germany. Notice here that the model is indicating a drier weather pattern to what has been quite a wet pattern up until now across the heart of Europe overall. 2-minute temperature anomalies, finally, you can see here that the model is indicating slightly warmer than normal conditions here. I think we're going to be like July, average out close to normal in terms of temperature. We were solidly below normal temperature wise up until just a few days ago when we had that heat surge. That has allowed the anomaly, that negative anomaly, to level off closer to average. So we're going to average July pretty much close to normal. I think we're going to be slightly wetter than normal. I think we're going to have a similar type of August coming up here overall. That's it for today. Thanks for watching if you're on YouTube, and do check out markfromtheweather.com for the written version of this August outlook. Have a great day. Bye for now.